And Tom, I also wanted to see if you had any update. I know we've seen online so many rumors, and we don't know what is true and what is not. Any update on the situation with Gennady Golovkin?
So much speculation out there where he's going to sign. I mean, the great thing is, you know, everything that we've done to build him up into that boxing superstar. He's the biggest television free agent right now in boxing. Everybody wants. I mean, he's a huge addition to anyone's platform. So whether it's DAZN or ESPN or, you know, the Fox or Showtime side, you know, everybody wants Gennady to be there. He's going to make the decision whenever he's ready. There's no time pressure for him. So whenever he's ready, he'll make the announcement. He'll make it himself. And a lot of fans keep telling me they want to see him back in the ring. Most of the fans, most of the media thought he won that second fight, or actually both fights, or a draw in the second fight. They feel that he's still a champion. That's why we've dubbed him the People's Champion. And as soon as he decides, then we'll make the announcement.
Has he mentioned to you in the past or currently what his priority would be? Is he more interested in going after the champions? We know that the DAZN has the middleweight champions there, or is he, you know, people talk about him getting close to retirement. Is he looking for just bigger fights, more of a payday? Like, what is he after for? What is his priority?
You know, there's so many variables from each different offer. Naturally, you go to one platform, you have a set of opponents. You go to a different platform, you have a different set of opponents. There's pluses and minuses, as with any decision, you know, what he's got to make. So he's going to make the decision that's best for him. Look, he tried to unify the titles for so long, you know, ever since 2012 when he was supposed to fight Dmitry Pirog to unify with the WBO championship. And then Pirog got injured, and then that's when Billy Joe Saunders fought against Andy Lee, and then we were never able to make the fight with Billy Joe Saunders. So he's had the titles before. The judges somehow, or at least two of the judges somehow, gave the 12th round to Canelo, which in essence gave the titles to Canelo. So, you know, he's had the titles right now. He's the people's champion. He doesn't need the titles, so it's not like that's going to be the priority for him is, you know, I want to get the titles back. The priority is going to be whatever is the best deal. But he's going to make the decision. He's going to weigh all the different factors and the variables. And then when he's ready to announce it, he'll announce it. That's why I keep telling a lot of media, keep asking me when's he going to announce, or how does it look? And I keep saying, you know, he'll make the decision when he's ready. And I can't say when he's going to be ready, because I don't know how much longer it's going to take. So, you know, I know a lot of people want to be the first to break the story, but you know,
nothing to break right now.
Nothing to break right now. No.
No. Well, we'll wait for him to be ready, and we'll see what he decides on doing. I'd like to get your thoughts, though. I mean, while we're waiting for him to make a decision, we saw the announcement of Canelo versus Daniel Jacobs, a fight that many were surprised to hear. So I'm wondering what your reaction was when you heard that.
I was surprised to hear it. I'm actually happy. I did a video interview that some people were calling me out on social media saying that fight's not going to happen, because I know they were going after David Lemieux. I mean, I talked to the promoters and they were going after David Lemieux. It was clear he was the co-feature. Lemieux, unfortunately, we have a lot of respect for David Lemieux, because he was the first champion to ever risk his title getting into a unification fight with Gennady. I mean, we were making huge offers to other champions. We just couldn't make the deal. Couldn't make them get in the ring to fight Gennady, because they knew what would happen. They knew at that time that they just you know, it was like they were negotiating for retirement money. Like this would be their last fight. So respect to David for taking the fight. Unfortunately, he didn't make the weight, and I guess he went to the hospital because he was dehydrated. So that left that May date open. You know, Eric Goldsmith called me and asked, you know, would Triple G want the May slot? I said, I told Eric, you know, he's still deciding what he wants to do. Once he decides and makes his TV deal, then he'll decide on who he's going to fight. So I think Triple G really controls his own destiny right now. before when people didn't even want to negotiate. I was trying to make the deal with Lou DiBella and Sergio Martinez, for example, and Lou didn't even want to even start a negotiation. Felix Sturm just avoided Gennady back then when Sturm was considered the #1 middleweight. He was a mandatory for 2 years and wouldn't take the fight with Gennady. Cotto didn't want the fight. Canelo, we saw what happened with Canelo the first time when the WBC mandated, this was after we had an agreement in place. We allow Canelo to fight Khan, and then come out and fight Triple G, and he vacated the title. So I mean, champions were literally vacating titles instead of getting in the ring, and it wasn't because we were demanding. You see what's happening with the heavyweight division. I mean, it seems like they'll fight each other if they get the right splits. They didn't even start negotiating the splits because we would have given the right splits just to get those guys into the ring. But right now I think Gennady is in a great place. He's got very strong offers from multiple companies, and it seems that fighters aren't afraid to fight him anymore. Charlo's talking about, he'd want to fight him. Canelo must have more confidence now that he went 12 rounds with him twice. Danny Jacobs says he wants to fight him again, although Danny did have a very unlevel playing field. The IBF created a situation where they handcuffed the champion. Gennady had to do the second-day weigh-in. Danny blew off the second-day weigh-in. He actually agreed the whole time it was agreed he was going to fight for the IBF title. He agreed at the rules meeting where he was going to be, when he was going to be, and then he canceled at the last minute. So we had no recourse because Gennady was obligated to do that second-day weigh-in under the IBF rules, and he had a big advantage, a big weight advantage. It's one thing if someone gains weight, both weigh in at the same time, and then you gain a certain amount of weight. You can't prevent that. I mean, that's if one guy's bigger, like Chavez would gain weight, or Danny or Canelo would gain weight. You can't prevent that from happening. But if you handcuff someone, and they have to weigh in at a certain amount the next day, and the opponent can weigh in whatever he wants, then it's almost like PEDs, where you create an unlevel playing field. And Danny had a big weight advantage that night. But I think it's a great fight. I don't want to take anything away from Danny and the fight with Canelo. I think that's a great fight. Two of the best middleweights fighting each other. We still think Triple G is the best middleweight because we don't think he lost to Canelo. But look, when you got two guys fighting each other, it's an exciting fight, and that's what the fans want to see. And I think the styles should match up well.
Do you think it's a 50-50 fight, or do you see one of them coming in with the higher advantage?
I like Danny as a person. I think with the weight, where both fighters have to weigh in 170 the next day, I have to give the advantage to Canelo. Canelo really learned a lot, I think, in the two Triple G fights. He definitely elevated his game the second time around when so many people were giving him a hard time, including Abel, about the first fight where he was so defensive. And then the second fight, he came out, was more aggressive, made it a closer fight. We still don't think he won the fight, but he fought much better the second time around. So on that trajectory, I would give Canelo the advantage in that rematch. I mean, the fight with Rocky Fielding really wasn't competitive, but if Canelo fights the way he fought against Triple G the second time around, I would have to go with the advantage to Canelo winning that fight. Yep.
Well, we'll see what happens on that fight on May 4th. And I also wanted to get your thoughts on Superfly. We have had 3 Superflies. Is there any indication that we might see Superfly 4?
We're working on it. That was always a favorite show of HBO. HBO and Peter Nelson put the spotlight back on the smaller divisions. We had a great run with Chocolatito Gonzalez. He was the #1 pound-for-pound fighter, if you can imagine it, at 115 pounds or 112 pounds. #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, with the exposure that he got from HBO, and it opened up a lot of doors. It opened up doors for Sistercat Sorungasai, for Estrada, for the Arroyo brothers, for Carlos Cuadras, for Ioka. Inoue was on our first Superfly show. So we really had a lot of fun with that. So I'm working on trying to keep that going. There's so many fighters in that division, and we'll see if we can make that keep that going just on a different platform.
I heard some rumors, maybe you can help me out, that the rematch for Rungasai and Gallo Estrada is, I guess, being negotiated. Is there any update on that?
I mean, the WC ordered that. They're negotiating. I know DAZN is very interested in buying the rights to that fight, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that fight. That's a great fight. I mean, that was a tremendous fight the first time around, very close. And I think the rematch will be a great fight as well.
All right. And lastly, Tom, let's get a message to all the fans who haven't. You said there's still tickets for Sunday night. Okay, so for if you haven't gotten a ticket, get your ticket and check out the fights on Sunday.
At the Avalon Hollywood, 360promotions.us. It's right there on the corner of Hollywood and Vine, right in the heart of Hollywood, right across the street from the Capitol Records building. Doors open at 3 o'clock. You'll see some great fights. You'll see some very attractive fighters in the main event. Maricela Carneo against Aaron Tohill. I think that's going to be one of the best fights we've had down there at the show. And like I said, don't miss Brian Sabayo. He's fighting Randy Fuentes. Like I said, George Navarro is going to be down there. We got a lot of great fights, and it'll be a fun show.
Absolutely, you guys don't miss it. Thank you so much, Tom Loeffler. Thank you.
Thank you.